Hey guys, and welcome back to this week's FYI Friday video. So I feel bad because last week I did not post an FYI Friday video because the whole week just completely flew by and it was Friday before I even knew it, and I work like pretty much all day Fridays, so I couldn't even film and get it up on time. So to make up for missing last week's video, this week I am going to give you guys 2 tips. Alright, so the first tip is using transition shades when you're using eyeshadow. You can do the same thing when you're doing contouring, which I think I talked about that like a few videos back, but when it comes to eyeshadows, that has made like a world of difference when it comes to blending my eyeshadows out. So if you don't know what a transition shade is, it's basically an eyeshadow that is like, pretty much it doesn't even really show up too much against your skin tone. So let me just show you some examples. In Makeup Geek, one of the big transition shades that I always use is Beaches and Cream, which is that one right there. And it's like super duper light to the point of where you cannot even see it against my skin tone. And the reason why you lay that down, you kind of lay it down, it's not like in the crease, but it's like almost above the crease, but not all the way up to your brow bone, if that makes any sense. Like it's kind of in that in-between area right there. So what you want to do is you just want to like blend that over that whole area there, and I even use transition shades on the bottom, and that pretty much lays down a good foundation for the rest of your eyeshadows to lay on top of and to really blend into each other. But for some reason, the fact that the eyeshadow formula is already on your eye when you are blending like the darker colors, it just kind of like, it's magic. Like it literally, it makes it so much better for all of the eyeshadows going over top of the transition shade to be able to blend out. What I also like to do is once I have all the colors down, for this look right here, once I got all of the purples down, I actually would go back with my transition shade that I used and actually use it to further blend the edges out. So if you kind of come to a point where like the edges are not completely faded out and it's just kind of like it's looking a little bit too harsh around the edges, take that transition shade and use that to kind of buff out the edges, and it really makes it smoked out. So yes, that is my first tip for this week. Okay, so my second tip for the week is holding brushes at a certain angle and like where to hold them on the brush handle. So where you hold brushes and the angle that you hold them at really makes a difference when you're doing your eyeshadow and when you're doing contouring, honestly. So like with my Cala 415, this is the brush that I always use to help me really kind of buff those transition shades in. This is also like a really awesome just kind of brush to really blend out those edges there. So when I'm using this brush, I don't hold it all the way up here, because if I were to hold it all the way up like by the bristles, it's too much pressure on those bristles that it's not going to give you a good enough blend. It's going to kind of be a little bit too like harsh, and it's just not going to blend out nicely. So rather than holding it up here, what I like to do with this brush is I actually hold it almost on the very back tip of it right here, just because it gives like a little bit of like, it has like a little bit of give to it like this. And that just kind of really helps to make sure that you are just lightly blending instead of just going in like full force with the bristles, because it's not going to work as good that way. Okay, another example is my Morphe M330 brush. This one I love to use in the crease because it has like this very pointed tip right here, but then it kind of narrows down the edges. So when I'm using this one, again, holding it on the very back of the brush, in order to use this like in the crease and have like a good blend out from it, I like to hold this brush kind of like up, like, hold on, I need a mirror. I hold it like up, kind of like this, because what that's doing is the very tip of this brush is laying the color down in the crease, while the kind of short edges on the sides here are helping to blend it outward. So that kind of makes a world of difference in blending, rather than holding it like this, because if you do this, you're gonna get a lot of pigment like where the tip is laying it down right here, but it's not going to be blending it upwards because there's no bristles like blending it upwards. It's just that pointed tip kind of laying it down in a harsh line right there. Okay, the same thing kind of goes for face brushes. When it comes to this brush, this is the Morphe M510 brush, and this I love to use for highlighting. This one, again, I'm not going to hold it up here because if I do that, it's going to lay down way too much product and it's going to be way too heavy. So you hold it all the way back here and it kind of just lays it down lightly and in like a bigger, I don't know, it just blends it out more than if you were to just do this and have it kind of just like crazy. All right, guys, so that is kind of like a couple examples of like the angle and where to hold a brush like on the actual handle itself. Hopefully that helped you guys out a little bit. It kind of varies just depending on whatever brush you're using, but generally try to just hold it on the very back tip of it to just get a lighter grip and not like so harsh, like strong grip on your face. And then, you know, if you are having a brush that has like a pointed tip, just pay attention to kind of like the style of the brush and what it can actually do to help you out, because these like narrowed down edges here really make a world of difference when you hold it upwards. Okay guys, I didn't plan on this video being 2 tips and both tips being about like eyeshadow stuff. I feel like it kind of worked out even though I did miss a video last week. So again, apologies for that. Okay guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button down below and to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Yeah, I think that's all that I have for you guys this week. I hope you all have a great day and I will see you in next week's FYI Friday video. Bye!